The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has issued a directive for deposit money banks and international money transfer operators, IMTOs, to pay diaspora remittances in Naira, matching them with corresponding foreign currency inflows. This move aims to enhance local currency liquidity for remittance settlements and promote greater remittance flows through formal channels. The CBN's measures are part of its commitment to maintaining the stability of the foreign exchange market and facilitating the smooth functioning of remittance transactions. Eligible IMTO operators can access the CBN window directly or through Authorized Dealer Banks, ADBs, to execute foreign exchange transactions. Now, this policy allows IMTOs to actively participate in Nigeria's foreign exchange market. Joining me for more on this, I have Muktar Mohammed, the CEO, Asheer Investments Limited. Thank you, Muktar, for joining me today.
Thank you, Babaja, for having me. Good morning.
All right. Well, this is another one. For those that thought the CBN was done, apparently there is still more. I mean, what more can we expect after this particular one?
I think, like I keep saying, I think what the CBN have been doing thus far is still the same thing we've talked about, try and error. You try this, if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, you come into. They've not really gotten their act together on stabilizing the exchange rate or attracting liquidity into the market. So what we've been seeing from the CBN thus far is this fire brigade approach. Can this work? Okay, let's try it. If it doesn't work, then you have to go back to the drawing board. I think finally they have a board, but there are too many drawings on the board. So they try to look at which of the drawings are really going to work for them. So I personally think the CBN is really not on top of the issue, especially with when it comes to FX. But what they've taken now, the decision taken about the international money transfer, I think is a good one. But how much are they also going to monitor those international money transfer agents to know whether they are also satisfied with it, bringing in their FX into the autonomous market? Even if you say these days it's like the official market is becoming more expensive than the parallel market, but I think it's a short-term measure. I don't know how that will attract more liquidity. I think the CBN itself, through the CBN governor, has said that more needs to be done. Hopefully, they should be able to do more. But for now, I think it's wait and see. But I'm not so confident because we've been through this route before. Remember, there was a time that the Emefiele CBN management team also did something like that. They even, at the point, tried to tell them to pay in dollars so that will make Nigerians easily access dollars and release pressure. But all this didn't work. So what it means is that the CBN seems not to learn their lessons. It seems to do same thing, maybe in a different direction, in a different dimension, thinking they will get a different result.
Well, talking about Emefiele's regime, I also remember there was a time we had this particular one where you get 25 Naira for every dollar and all of that. Do you think we need to bring back something like that? Even, I mean, it's not just about individuals. Even there was this one that was also for manufacturers where they were getting some form of rebates and all of that. Do we need to, bring back some of those things?
Well, you would have brought it back if you'd seen the results were commensurate with what we've seen these days after the current investigation of the former CBN governor. We realized that all those processes were conduct part for corrupt practices, and a lot of people were getting FX through the back door. And despite, so I don't think those are what we need to do. If we are going to do that, then we need to attract good investors. What will 25 Naira per dollar do? If you convert that and come up with a money bond or a foreign diaspora bond like what they are planning, and decide to add that as a percentage of what it will be like if you bring in your FS from the diaspora. I've said it over and over, the only way the CBN can stabilize rates for now is for them to make sure they have a product, a genuine product that a lot of people will key into, and then that product will attract FX, either through infrastructural funds or through investment in other sectors of the Nigeria economy, especially for Nigeria and diaspora. That will definitely be the game changer that can attract FX, consistent flow of FX into the market. I keep saying it that I think it's sometime 2018, the remittance from diaspora was higher than what we got in oil price, in terms of oil returns. So we need to go back to the drawing board. What did we do differently to attract those inflows? Let's see how we can improve on that and begin to attract inflow into this country. India today, their foreign reserve is one of the largest in the world. It's not just driven by how much of what they export. Is largely driven by their intellectual property that they have exported out of India. The remittance that those bring into Indian economy that have been huge. That's why today Indian have a foreign reserve of about $625 billion. So we need to begin to see how we can begin to look at our intellectual properties that are there, or Nigerian the diaspora also, to begin to attract investment into Nigeria that is sustainable for the long run, not these money transfer agents that those they could see a better means of transfer and then those flows will not come in again. We have seen that most of Nigerian diaspora do not normally remit their fund through some of these money agents because there are other apps, because of the advance of fintech. There are other apps that are not even registered in Nigeria that does such things with them. So how can CBN identify some of these apps and block their capability to do business in terms of return to Nigeria? That also could help attract more inflow into the economy.
All right, so looking at this new directive, don't you see it sort of helping ensure that we have more official, more of those things coming through the official window? That's the diaspora remittances.
Like I said, I think it should have, but like I said, they also have other fintech companies, other apps that these Nigerians in diaspora are using that convert it to them immediately and then credit the receiver down here. Yeah. So for us to do that, to make sure that we have those inflow, I think my advice is for CBN to look at those apps that are doing those businesses and see how they can forbid them from doing businesses in Nigeria, so that we'll know that the inflow will only come from those that are registered in this country and those that are ready to make sure that when this inflow comes in, they are remitted right here in this country to improve our FX supply.
Well, still on this IMTO, I just want us to sort of milk it as much as we can before we move on to some other things. Now, the CBN talks about, pricing for transactions being based on prevailing NAFEM rates. I'm just curious here. Are you concerned about, CBN ensuring transparency and also preventing manipulation in this process?
Well, I think they've tried in that. You need to give it to them. I think they've really brought in a little bit of stability, integrity in the FX market. We are not hearing so much like we used to hear before. So for me, I think that's a good thing. But is there more to be done? Yeah, I think more should be done about manipulation in the market. For now, we have seen that for the official market seems to be more higher than the foreign market and than the parallel market. And we need to ask why that, and why is the currency not really stable? Despite all these measures that are put in place. Those are part of what I think the CBN should be looking and then trying to improve. In terms of integrity, I think we are relatively getting there gradually, even if we say we're not there like we should be.
All right, well, the CBN governor was quoted as saying that, they're doing enough, and also talking about how that they've been able to ensure some form of stability. For you, do you think we've come to that point where there is that measure of stability that we actually want to see? How stable is it?
Petra, when he made that statement, the exchange rate was 1,400 and I think close at 1,470. Immediately made that statement, I saw the exchange rate close at 1,500 official market. So maybe his relative stability is to begin to move from 1,400 to 1,500. Maybe that's what he thinks that will bring stability. He has forgotten that at a point in February, after this high volatility, the exchange rate was almost getting to 1,000 Naira, because it got to 1,200 before it started this upward trend again. So I don't know what type of stability he has been able to maintain or to bring in, because The same, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics told us that first quarter, we have been able to attract $24 billion in terms of remittance. And I asked myself, where have these remittance gone to? Because if we have attracted up to 24 billion, we should be seeing that in terms of supply and stability in our exchange rate. And also, we should be seeing that in our foreign reserve. So it is now becoming like the more you hear, the less you understand. So more clarity needs to come in from the CBN and others.
Well, talking about attracting, foreign exchange, to a very large extent, would say that this is not necessarily within the purview of the monetary authority, even though it's doing a whole lot, just like you have said, and it keeps doing so much to make this happen. Now, from the fiscal authority perspective, what are the things that you think have been done so far?
Sorry to say, Papucha, I don't think anything has been done. I think the physical side is more interested in revenue, and that is why the monetary policy seems to be struggling. A situation where the physical side are make sure that port charges are based on the foreign exchange autonomous market. Today is 1,400, tomorrow is 1,300, 1,000. That has not helped bring down inflation in any way. So for me, that is a big challenge. In other developed countries, when you see the monetary side tightening up, you see the physical side coming up with some measures that will lose a little so that businesses will grow, so that people will not be, will be able to pay their loans, people will be able to, their earning will not be eroded. But what we have seen in this is that when the physical side does theirs, the monetary side seems to up the game, continue to do the same thing, or otherwise even doing worse than what they were doing before. So there need to be a synergy. If rate is being hiked, then how much of that are you helping in terms of driving down inflation? Because situation when the CBN is hiking rate to bring down inflation, and the monetary side are in turn pumping on more liquidity, either through borrowing, either through intervention of more cash transfer. All these things make no sense of whatever thing the monetary policy seems to be doing to bring down liquidity, especially in terms of transfer, in terms of liquidity in the system. So we need to see a synergy. The monetary, physical side is increasing the electrical tariff when there was also a hike in interest rate. So definitely you are putting so much burden on the private sector, and 80% of Nigeria employers those that are employed are in the SME space. I'm talking about the informal sector, the smaller business, and these are the business that the government is putting more burden on. I think the physical side has really not done well in synergizing or helping whatever policy the monetary side have taken to bring stability into Nigerian economy.
But what are your recommendations really for the fiscal authority? Because we hear a lot of proposals here and there, even recommendations that have not yet been probably, rectified and ratified and all of that. So what are your recommendations? What should they be doing now?
My recommendation is it will still be the same recommendation that the Tax Reform Committee have said. I strongly believe that's the best committee that the government has established. That committee says fix FX rate in terms of importation of goods, fix it at what you think is the true value of your currency. Then that will drive down inflation. For me, that is the game changer. Come up with products that will attract more foreign direct investment. You see, I say foreign direct investment. I'm not talking about portfolio investment. Portfolio investment will come for the hot money and for the short term. How can we attract long-term investment in the economy? For me, that is it. Then look at it. Do you want to build the Nigerian economy? But if in the short term you think you need FX supply, you have high rates to improve liquidity in terms of FX liquidity by rates, whereby a lot of these foreign investors will be able to do what we call a risk, just almost a risk-free investment and have good returns. Then you should look at that in the short term, but try to put on so many policy in terms of helping your own industry in Nigeria to grow. So for me, I think the best thing is we should look at the Tax Reform Committee that has looked at tax as a way of growing the economy rather than just for revenue.
Well, a lot of us look forward to that particular one becoming law. I mean, it's something we look forward to. And then now, given the recent depreciation and let's talk about maybe various economic factors, what is your long-term outlook for the Naira? Are there any upside risks or potential catalysts for the Naira to appreciate in the nearest term?
Upside risks will still suffer from oil theft. We've not seen so much improvement in that. Insecurity also is not attracting a lot of investors into the Nigerian market. Then the short-term gain, I mean, the upside that I'm looking at will be the coming of stream of Dangote refinery, whereby we stop importation of refined petroleum product. That will drive demands to all-time low, because from the data we normally get from Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, most of the FX demand that have really put so much pressure on the Naira normally are for petroleum marketers. And Dangote has said that in spite that they will buy from the crude oil in FX, they will normally want to sell it to marketers in Naira. So that also, it could help. For me, that is the best game changer that I think the upside potential of seeing that the Naira comes down and then businesses will begin to strive.
Thank you so much, Muktar Mohammed, CEO, Asheer Investments, for your time and your thoughts.
Thank you.